Hi everyone, alongside Mike Trossel, I'm Dave Giancola. Thanks for joining us for another U.S. Open Classic finish. The 2019 U.S. Open Championship was played where else? Take me back, Pebble Beach golf links.
Dave, calm conditions led to low scores as both Gary Woodland and Justin Rose were double digits under par through 36 holes. But not to be outdone, two-time defending champion Brooks Koepka birdied 4 of his first 5 holes on Sunday to prove he would not give up his title without a fight.
All right, so we have a 3-horse race. Woodland, Rose, and Koepka as the players turn for the back 9. We'll pick up Brooks Koepka at the 11th.
Up the 11th, Koepka ready to go.
Up the hill wedge. How to use some spin. Oh, he did. This could get all the way down. Boy, he's been masterful at getting this ball past the hole and spinning it back. He did it on 3, he did it on 4, and he does it now at 11 in a straight.
Justin Rose at 10.
191 to the front. Flagstick only 10 paces on front right. 201 wind out of the right. Look for this to be right in the middle of the green. Hazard line is only 3 paces from the surface on the right.
Get lucky.
Get flying. Yeah.
Coming up short once again.
It's been the pattern for Justin Rose. He's having a hard time hitting greens in regulation.
Back at the 11th is to get within 1 for Brooks Koepka.
Straight up the hill, 10 feet.
Right in the center.
Broke a little bit to the right at the end. That's his 8th one-putt green of the day. Koepka now 1 back of Gary Woodland. Boy, he righted the ship just like Paul Azinger said back on 9.
Gary Woodland's second shot at 10. His lead is down to 1.
Pressure's really getting amped up on Gary Woodland now. He's won 3 times, Joe. He knows what it feels like to try to win. He's had last group experience, and then a couple years, or last year, he played with Tiger on Sunday, which was a circus, and he's got a lot of great experience, and so far, so good.
Now it's time for Who's Winning and Why, sponsored by Cisco, the bridge to possible. And you look at the second 9 this week around Pebble Beach. It's supposed to be tough. Hasn't been for Gary Woodland and Justin Rose. Rose is 7 under par on this back 9. Brooks Koepka, who you saw just make birdie at 11, now 1 under on his back 9. Rose will need to lean on that and needs to get something going here at Pebble Beach.
Question is, where is Justin Rose's golf ball here at 10? Short right. You could hear him say, get lucky, get lucky. It didn't look like he got too lucky.
Well, you know, if that marshal is a marshal and not just a trespasser, then it looks like his ball may be down that hill a little bit, you know, but it's not. You see Justin stop up top there. Curtis?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's outside the hazard. It's in a very thick lie, but the tough part about this, he's not very far from the hole, so you're going to give it a pretty good whop. But you're only 22, 25 feet from the hole.
He's going to have to get in there, Curtis, and evaluate that lie, whether that ball's all the way down on the bottom and touching the ground, or if he can get the club to slide past it.
No, it's not on the ground. It's a type of fluffy lie, but there's just a lot of thick grass around his ball. It's not the worst I've seen this week.
Well, this is all about measuring up and catching it on the part of the face you want to catch it on. You can tell by his practice swing how thick that grass is. Oh for 2 today and scrambling, and that's been his strength the last 3 days. Not quite the same Justin Rose in the last hour or so that we've seen.
Gary Woodland with a long putt for birdie.
Okay, this was earlier at the 12th. Louis Oosthuizen now 5 back.
Whoa!
This is going way right.
Ooh, that could go out of bounds.
And there has been a big delay following that. And the reason Koepka's just standing on the tee and not playing.
We'll come back to that. We'll pick it back up here at the green at 10 and check in on Gary Woodland, the leader.
He and his caddy are looking at their books and trying to get a sense of the speed. I can tell him it's downhill the whole way.
He's been brilliant on the greens this week, Curtis. No 3-putt so far.
Well, that's fine and good, but the pressure starts to amp up here as you know, last 9 holes of a major.
He'll be pretty happy with that one. You know, he hadn't shied off either, Joe. A lot of times when you're starting to feel it, it's almost a suffocating kind of pressure. You tend to leave all his putts short, and Gary Woodland hadn't shown much of a sign of that at all.
Justin Rose will try to save his par.
Well, not much to this. Just barely back up the slope. This wears on you after a while. Continue time and time again to have to save par. Especially for a guy who's a good ball striker that ordinarily doesn't play the game like this.
Curtis, there's a graphic on the screen. 36 1-putts this week for Justin Rose. That's more than half the holes.
Well, the good news is he's putting very well. The bad news is he has to. But once again, I'm sure he's saying to himself, just one more time, I promise I'll hit it better.
Well, he needs to putt better. He had 16 putts on the front. The formula at U.S. Opens is generally fairways and greens, and he hasn't been able to do that, but this club saved him over and over again.
And again, kind of felt like a must make for Justin Rose to likely stay within a couple. Depends on what Woodland does and if he taps this in for his par.
Not even that clown behind him could distract Gary Woodland at this point. Some guy waving a sign back there. I don't know what that's all about, but didn't bother that guy.
Now up at the 12th, this a long putt for par for Louis Oosthuizen. Just standing back on the tee. Brooks Koepka waiting. Louis now 6 back.
If anything, the slightest bit of help, but play it straight across, yeah.
So, do you reckon you're 2 steps back? You're not quite as in my line.
I will, thank you.
That's awesome, thank you.
Now Rory to save his par.
And Rory only missed the green by 4 yards, and he couldn't even go at this hole with his pitch shot. Hit a great one just to get to here.
He was waiting on the side of that green for a long time for that big drop.
The roller coaster for Rory continues. Now the green clearing. Koepka ready.
198 down the hill for Brooks, but it's only 190 front. He's got a 6-iron. Wind is just slightly hurting off his left. Difficult hole location on this front kind of rightish side of the green.
Well, it's difficult if you try to fade it.
This one way up in the air. Got to go, guys.
That's a really tough bunker shot. Phil Mickelson early in the day had it from there and couldn't get within 20 feet. Slopes away from Koepka there. Another big mistake.
Back at 11, Justin Rose.
No chance.
That right rough is just brutal.
It's only his second missed fairway of the day. Taking a hybrid or a 3-3 wood there just to try and keep it in this fairway in this short par 4. Wind pushing that way, and oh, it's thick.
Now Gary Woodland, second day in a row, he's playing this aggressive with driver.
I love this play. It's a big show of confidence. But again, just like Rose, he's going to miss it into the right rough. And that's way inside there. There won't be a lot of footprints there. That'll be a thick line.
Back here at the 11th, and Justin Rose second on the way from 128.
Got lucky to have a decent lie out of there, but takes a conservative approach there and in a good spot just left of the green where it's not a bad place to chip from. And tell you what, hitting in this rough on 11, not good.
Now Koepka here at 12.
Speaking of not good, the bunker here lips it out. Was it half the players in there, Shane, who got up and down today?
Go to the 16th. Adam Scott, with some of the players struggling, all of a sudden had a chance, and that is well past.
It's hard to imagine from that distance he couldn't even hit the hole. It's 4 times farther away than when he started. He's looking at it like it might have hit something. Ugh.
And back at 11, and Curtis Strange let us know in break that this lie is just dreadful.
Well, I'm not going to say from 790. Let's listen.
You looked at just a little bit of fairways, not if you can get it right there with Rose, you keep the length. Anything in front's good.
He only has 97 yards, but just has to go to the front left. Terrible lie. Can't control it if he could hit it that far.
Got to hit it on the chimney of that house or just left of it. Can't afford to even attempt. Wow, that was a hard swing.
Way up in the air.
Are you kidding me? That's the best.
Unbelievable there.
Curtis. There are not many players that could do that shot.
Well, they were talking about the front left of the green.
He defied Brendan Little. Brendan said just hit to the front of the green. What a swing there. That was harder than his driver swing.
Power. And more power to get this out.
And Shane, it's really hard to control the distance your ball goes when you have that much speed in an open-faced club.
And Gary Woodland just went down and got that. And he now has a birdie putt at 11. We'll go to 12. Koepka to save par.
Should break a hair to his right. Huge putt.
And Brooks Koepka now 1 of 5 this week in sand saves. He will drop the shot he picked up at 11. And now Adam Scott at 16. This for bogey.
Good comeback there. We're just trying to think what the winning score might be. And did Adam Scott, if he made a couple birdies, would he have a chance? And huge miss there.
Back at the 11, Justin Rose.
Like
his short game, guys.
Yeah, it looked like he snagged it a little bit, a couple in a row, saying. Rehearsing it in. I have this favorite book by this guy named Arnold Holtain, The Mystery of Golf, and he could do no wrong the first 3 days. This book written in 1908. God, you don't understand it. How can it change so badly? Couldn't hit a fairway for 3 days.
Well, Gary Woodland has right around 15 feet, slightly down the hill, but pretty good breaker from left to right. Huge putt here with Koepka just bogeying this to go to 13 and a 3-shot lead. Unbelievable second shot he just hit there, man.
We're just shaking our heads still at it, Curtis. How many players in the field could have done that? Maybe Koepka.
Maybe DJ, but just a handful. I know that.
That's it.
Strength.
And that ball landed on the green. The players that have hit it in this right rough, it's cost almost a complete shot compared to the players that hit in the fairway.
All things considered, real solid par for Gary Woodland.
Up ahead at the par 4 13th, Koepka.
It's another one of those holes, Joe, that you pretty much have to put it on the fairway. Those right bunkers are really difficult if he reaches them. Oh boy, that's going to be up against the lip, I think. Hole cut in the far back right portion of this green.
Back at the 11th, another lengthy par putt for Justin Rose.
You know, we've talked all week long. He hasn't been sharp and tee to green, been excellent on the green and around the greens, but it looks like finally it might be catching up. This up the hill.
Oh, yeah, what a save for Rose.
Huge putt at 10, bigger putt at 11.
Just when we count them up, the putter wakes up. 2 back.
A little bit earlier, Dustin Johnson for birdie at 18.
Disappointing week for Dustin Johnson. The first 3 rounds he hit it really nicely, Joe, and couldn't get any putts. A lot of people thought that Dustin Johnson was going to be the man to beat here. Got a nice track record at Pebble, and you heard him just say it's been like that all week.
Second at the Masters, second at the PGA Championship. That run of runner-up finishes will end here in this U.S. Open, with the Open Championship upcoming in July at Royal Portrush. Here is Wu, the amateur, for bogey. His college graduation at Stanford for today, but boy, did he show well here this week at Pebble Beach. Finishes 1 over.
Invaluable experience.
Rose now at the 12th, and that means Victor Hovland, low am at the Masters, will be low amateur here at Pebble Beach.
There's 198 to the hole, 8 flagstick, 8 paces on. Don't want to fly it any more than 190.
A draw to get it in that entrance there. Oh, that's that thickest part there. That's where we saw Woodland yesterday. Rose birdied this hole yesterday. 6-iron doesn't seem to be enough club.
You have a completely different hole than yesterday. He had the entire green in which to work. Now he has a skirt between these 2 bunkers that guard the front right and front left of this green.
And Curtis, we haven't seen many players get it to the surface here at the 12th.
That settled into some deep rough, and he's going to have to go over that bunker, then down the hill. 2 big misses here in this final pairing.
He had a miracle par save here yesterday. He's going to need another one here today.
Up ahead at 13, second shot for Brooks Koepka.
151 uphill into a light breeze. Really awkward stance. This is a rocket.
Oh my gosh, Steve, he got it over the lip and all the way back there. That bunker has been a no-go for the majority of the field. That's the shot of the championship so far for Koepka.
Well, we mentioned the miracle save from Woodland. Let's go back to what happened yesterday when the final pairing of Gary and Justin Rose reached the 12th, sponsored by Deloitte, who invites you to only see possible. This was Woodland off the green to save par. Just an unreal save from Woodland, who just continues to save par after par, and Rose calmly rolls this in for birdie after the chip in from Woodland. So we'll go to the 14th. Again, looked like a bogey, smelled like a bogey, and it was not a bogey. Looked like the ball might roll back down to his feet. Walks away with a 5. What does Rose do? Calmly rolls it in on top of him for bird.
Incredible. And that birdie Rose made was a 4-iron third shot into 14. And Gary Woodland sits atop this leaderboard at 12 under par, the same score Tiger won with in 2000, but Tiger won by 15 shots. Woodland up by 2.
Woodland just arriving to check that lie here at the 12th.
Well, I looked at it and could barely see it. So it's down deep, a lot of grass around the ball. Got to carry the bunker downhill all the way to the hole. This is not pretty.
Hey, Curtis, as Gary walks up, what's best case scenario in terms of what the lead could be?
Well, I think you have to be careful here with this lie. If you had a decent lie, you might be able to hit a big flop shot and take the chance, but you just don't know how the ball's going to react out of this grass. So I think you have to play a more conservative, safe shot, and therefore it's going to be 20 feet from the hole.
Curtis, he's
15, 20 feet from the hole.
He's making a big swing with an open face. It looks like he's going to go up.
Well, he has to go up. It's just a matter of how high and how close to the bunker he wants to try to land it.
Got to be strong to get through this grass like the last hole.
Great shot. That's just, sometimes you have to take your medicine.
Well, it landed right on the front of the green from him, and impossible.
Well, who knows what's going to happen there. This is Brooks Koepka at 13 to get to 11 under for birdie.
Well, if he can pay off that iron shot, it's okay. Koepka doesn't know that Gary Woodland's in trouble behind him. That's a good solid par after hitting it that bunker.
Now Justin Rose.
Well, that was a great break for that ball to end up in the sand. Unlike Woodland's yesterday, it stayed up in the brow of that bunker in the thick grass. Great shot from Rose. He continues to dazzle us out of the bunkers this week.
And we'll stay here. Woodland again needs a minor miracle to save par.
Yeah, this is a tough read too, because it's coming off the shoulder from the bunker on the right. Flattens up the last 5 or 6 feet.
See Gary and Brennan here looking in their greens book. It gives them some slope, the percentage of slope and grades. Not many putts happen from this part of the green to this hole location. For a birdie anyway today. And like you said, Curtis, I always thought this was one of the most difficult greens on the golf course to read.
I think they're all hard to read. This overall, I think, has to move from his right to left, outside the hole.
Gary Woodland has not made a bogey on the back nine this week. We mentioned Woodland's run of 2 bogeys in this championship when he arrived at the 9th. He has now made 2 bogeys over his last 4 holes.
Curtis called that ball was breaking left and then just straightened out. It's confounding green. A lot of players missed this putt on the right.
Now the lead just 1 over Koepka and Rose Rose this for par.
Stand there, guys, please. Thanks.
Well, he answered yesterday with a birdie. Justin Rose, after making 2 par putts on 10 and 11, shoves that one out to the right.
Right, huh? I knew my left centre foot.
And both players in our final pairing make 4 at the 12th.
There you go. Yeah, it definitely went to the right. See him. You heard him say to Gareth Lord, it went out to the right. It looked like he was playing that straight. Could have been a little push too.
Koepka at the par 5 14th.
Boy, good break that got to the right of the bunker, Joe. That's a tough layup from the sand.
Up at the green, McIlroy for birdie. Just cannot get it going. Made that double at 2 and kind of a harbinger of things to come. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Now Justin Rose back at the tee at 13.
Yeah, that short miss back there at 12 is critical. It probably feels like ripping a Band-Aid off the hairiest part of your arm. Just a shocker. It's got to be down that left side and avoid that bunker. That's a beauty. He's only 2 back.
Koepka 1 back. Woodland.
This comes down to a me against you. Forget the hardware. Just trying to beat 2 guys really right now. That is no good. The hole's on the right.
Way to the right.
Big bunker protecting it, Curtis, and might get a break there. He's got a little bit of a lie, but still no chance to get that close.
While we were away, second shot by Brooks Koepka at the par 5 14th.
Just got to put this in the fairway anywhere, Joe. Cannot play this shot from the rough to that hole location, and that is a beauty. It's all he could do. It's also all he needed.
Koepka trailing by 1 with Woodland in trouble off the tee at 13. Gary Woodland has found where his drive settled.
Well, he's got a pretty decent lie over there where the spectators have walked. It's fluffy, but he'll get the club on the back of the ball. It's just a terrible angle into this hole. Flagstick back right. He just has to go up the left center of the green. 160.
62, right? You got 5 off the right. Try to play at 60. What's got to come? You're into the wind. So it's okay. You think it's coming out hard? I just don't think it's coming out hard. I mean, if not, it's 60 into the wind. It's got to come out hard to get there. You got 5 right of it. If anything, finish it over the left edge of the tower. Left, you're coming back up the hill. Just a smidge out of your left hand.
Cannot afford to miss to the right.
That is something special. Never expected him to take that line.
Third shot, Koepka at the par 5.
This plays really long back up that hill. Oh boy, sitting okay, and he's got room there. Off that severe upslope, he's going to have to hit a gentle little flop.
Second shot for Justin Rose now at 13. Rose sitting 2 back. We just saw that great effort by Gary Woodland a moment ago. And now on this Father's Day, we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Joe Buck along with Paul Azinger, and this is just fascinating to watch as we look at this leaderboard right now. It is still that 3-horse race we talked about earlier.
It sure is, and I think what we've got now is you got Gary Woodland, who's I think I can. He's never done it before, versus Justin Rose and Brooks Koepka, who are saying, I know I can do this. I've done this before. So that's kind of what it's coming down to. Gary Woodland's capable, but since that duck hook on 9, Joe, he had a good drive on 10, and he just keeps missing to the right. Right on 11, right on 12, right on 13, and suddenly Gary Woodland has a 2-shot miss, a 2-way miss, I should say.
Fourth shot for Koepka at 14.
Yeah, he's the I know I can, I've done this before guy up against the I think I can, Gary Woodland. And believe me, there's a lot going on in their head. The wheels are turning. And if I'm Gary Woodland, I'm just going to make it about me against Brooks and me against Justin Rose. They put their pants on the same way I do. And, you know, just sweep around your own porch here, Gary. You're only up against 2 guys now.
Justin Rose in the bunker, short again with an iron as he plays the 13th.
And not a good lie at all. Up against the indentation of the rake. You know, I just wonder what's going on with his swing. He's missed so many short this week and to the right. You got to think that he knows what he's doing wrong. He just can't seem to fix it in competition.
Not in.
Phone's bud, thanks.
Weird looking shot, the way that ball came out of there.
See if Koepka makes his par at 14.
Beautiful pitch from over there on the left side of the green. That upslope saved him. The last time the U.S. Open was here, that was shaved, Joe, and that might have rolled all the way out of bounds. The USJ didn't like the way that looked, and maybe not out of bounds, but so far down the hill it crossed the cart path.
Third shot at 18 for Xander Schauffele.
Xander's the guy that can post. If he can make that, he can post 8 under par, be just 3 back.
Here's Woodland at 13.
That is some kind of par, Joe, from where he drove it. Gutsy second shot.
He is even par for this final round and will hold there through 13. So a par for Gary Woodland. Justin Rose trying to salvage a par here at 13.
Well, this is the 4th straight hole he's had outside of 5 feet for par. $10, $11, $12, now $13.
Well, that's a dagger right there to Justin Rose. Middle of the fairway. He makes
Okay, guys,
bogey.
just stand a second, please. Thank you.
Gary Woodland 30 yards right of the fairway, coming away with par. Now the all-important tee shot for Gary Woodland at 14, although I believe he's going to treat that like a 3-shot hole, that par 5 today.
Rose bogeyed this 13th yesterday, and he walks away with a disappointing bogey today, back-to-back at 12 and 13.
Well, you can tell by his body language. He knew how critical that was. It's a killer when it happens from the middle of the fairway.
Go to 15. The hole Brooks Koepka has parred each of the first 3 days.
This is his driving iron. Right rough is not easy to make birdie out of. Terrible angle to the front right flag. That's way right. I don't think we've seen any player today over that far.
Now at the par 5, Gary Woodland leading by 1.
That looked like a much smoother, much slower transition. And just like anybody else under pressure, the swing can tend to get short, Joe. And when you hit a duck hook like that on 9, it's easy to overcorrect.
This for Schauffele to get to 8 under par. Xander Schauffele was 5 under through 10. Cooled off after that. Here's Rose now at 14. And just hanging on the edge.
Back here at the 15th, Brooks Koepka's second.
Shame there's only been 2 birdies from the rough today on this hole. Only 1 from the right side. Oh, just the ability to hit it that straight on line and get it on the green. What a good shot.
Here's Justin Rose thinking about his second shot at 14.
This is a big decision that they're going to make right here, whether or not he takes a crack or tries to rely on his wedge game.
Paul, he can't hit it far enough, so if you get it up close to this green where the hole location is, I don't think you have much of a third, so he's taking out a layup club.
He's hunting down now the best yardage for his third shot, Curtis. That's a beauty.
We'll go up a hole. Koepka ready to go for birdie.
40 feet, guys, really fast down the hill. Big breaker to the right.
Picked up a lot of speed down that slope. All settled into a little divot there. Boy, we're certainly starting to see struggles from everybody at the top. It looks like it was so easy until this back nine.
Koepka's father reacting. Looked good for a long time.
Second shot. Gary Woodland, our leader, at the par 5.
This surprises me. This surprises me, Curtis. Let's see what he's got.
He's only got 249 to the front right. He's got plenty of strength to get it there. Here we go. Going at the front left bunker. Carried it. Carried it.
What a shot that is. That takes a lot of guts. Out of bounds, tight to the right side.
Hey, John, you can hit that shot.
What a shot.
Sepp Straka has the only eagle here today at number 14.
Can't tell you how good that is. Severely uphill. Now, all of a sudden, this putt is huge for Koepka.
What a 4. What a pressure putt.
Had to have it, and he got it. Koepka's got 3 to go.
We've got to take another look at Gary Woodland's second shot here to 14. That is blasted 263 yards to the hole. That's a 255-yard carry uphill. And I got to tell you, it's cold out there.
Here's Justin Rose, third shot.
I think the hardest third shot in par 5, straight up the hill, hard to judge the distance. Big, huge bunker looking right at you. Small target.
Do it, Jared.
Good shot.
He doesn't know for sure where that is. He's just judging that shot now by the applause.
We'll go to the 16th, Chez Reavie.
Downhill dog leg right, all position for the players this week. Just got to carry the cross bunker and keep it short of the bunkers on the right, and A1 there. One of the easiest fairways for the players to hit all week long. Riley having a good tournament for himself, Shane.
Reavie even par on his round today. Just 4 shots off the lead now, Koepka. And we'll take a look at this tee shot with our Lexus Tracer.
Long iron there and kept that down. Powers it by Reeves. A perfect shot. You got to be in this fairway, this whole location, in the back right, up on the highest part of the green. Very difficult to get it close.
While he was playing, here's a reception for Gary Woodland at 14. What a shot.
They waited all day to see something like that, and the leader of this championship delivered. Now, it's been brilliant around the greens all week, Curtis. None more important than this.
Yeah, that's a tricky little lie, tricky little shot when you come in with a lofted club like he has. Have to be precise.
You almost want to try to whiff this thing knowing that you cannot. That way you'll never dump it. That's okay. Not great. Got a little work left.
I can't tell you how good a 3-wood that just was.
You know, you only hit a handful of 3-woods like that in a career, really, if you think about it. You know, it's like a 1-iron or something off a tight lie, and it's
like Jack's 1-iron over here 17 years ago.
That's right. You don't get a whole lot of those in a lifetime.
Well, especially on this stage. It's easy on Tuesday afternoon.
Justin Rose for birdie.
This is one of the flattest putts he's had all day long.
You know, in his mind right now, he's probably thinking this is a must make. Woodland sitting in there just 3.5, 4 feet away for birdie. And there is some movement in this left to right. He's putting down towards the ocean from here. This is the fast direction.
I will finish.
Rose for his par.
Well, the real dagger for Rose was on the previous hole, making bogey from the middle of the fairway.
Did that while Gary Woodland made par from the right rough.
That's right. Now Woodland can go 4 shots ahead of Justin Rose if he can make this.
And it would give him a 2-shot advantage on Koepka.
That's right. Well, it'll be a 2-horse race if Koepka makes this. I think Justin Rose's hopes are dashed. If he misses it now, that'd be a different story. But this goes in. It's going to be down to 2 guys.
Paul, this is a point in time in the round that I don't think it's all about stroke. I don't think it's about anything other than willing this ball in the hole. He knows if he makes this, he takes a 2-shot lead.
What a birdie.
Boy, he just calmly stepped up there and rolled that in. Beautiful stroke.
And up ahead, Koepka's second.
153 straight downhill. This online, guys.
Well, there's no center of the green for Brooks Koepka, taking dead aim. That'll be a massive right to left break. But right at the flag.
Jon Rahm at 18 for birdie. He was 3 under through 7 today. 1 over since. Seven under for the week, shoots 68 today, and really for the first time in his young career contending in a U.S. Open. His best previous finish, a tie for 23rd at Oakmont in 2016, as we go back to 15.
Well, yesterday he hit a beautiful stinger out here. Just 220, 230 off the tee. That's another one.
He loves it. And Zing and Curtis, I can't help but thinking in 1992, Tom Kite playing the final day took a 3-wood out on 14. Mike Carrick, his caddy, made him go because he knew he could get at that front bunker, and he got up and down. It reminds me of, Brendan Little, caddy for Mike Weir when he won the Masters, and I'm sure that voice is in Woodland's head. But let's be aggressive. He took command right there.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brad. That was a gutsy effort to take a crack at that 14th green, and for him to get it over that bunker. Goodness.
Enough for left.
Yeah.
You got to miss those bunkers on the left here. Nope. Right in it.
Rose now 4 back of Gary Woodland. Gary 2 clear of Brooks Koepka, who has a long birdie putt coming up at the 16th. And as we head to break, a reminder, our last commercial free the rest of the way. We're back. Koepka for birdie. Uninterrupted coverage of the U.S. Open Championship on Fox is presented by Rolex. We'll be taking you the rest of the way commercial free. Big putt here for Brooks.
28 feet, big right to left. He birdied this hole yesterday.
And a good run here today. Back at 15, Justin Rose.
From 128 on the upslope with a pitch and wedge.
Now our leader, Gary Woodland.
Exact same distance, 128 wedge. Looking right down on top of this flagstick.
Be surprised if we didn't see a fade here like this, letting the wind help it. Get all the way to the shelf. Needs to go another foot.
Smart shot there from Woodland. Koepka did tap in for his par up ahead at 16.
17, Rory McIlroy for par. 2 over for this final round, 4 under for the championship. Came in off the win at the Canadian Open. Excited for the Open Championship coming up at Royal Portrush. Even if you're unable to make it out to Pebble Beach this week, you can still find a way to get in on the experience. Check out all the official U.S. Open gear right now by going to usgashop.com. Here's Graham McDowell, his 3rd shot at 18, made eagle here yesterday. Boy, he's played well this week. A guy who in the middle last year was thinking about hanging it up. Realized how much he loved it out here U.S. Open champion in 2010 at Pebble Beach Golf Links, and a smile as he's handed his putter. Chez Reavie at 17.
This is a 3 hybrid for Chez. This hole playing 220, but into a cold, stiff breeze.
Beautiful shot to that Tom Watson, so to speak, hole location. Honoring what he did in '82. Reavie even for the day, 5 shots back. Koepka.
4-iron for Brooks. It's 211 to carry that front greenside bunker.
He just needs to hit this as high and as soft as he can.
Well, he did both of those, Paul.
Oh, what a good shot by both of those players. That flagstick looks like it's about laying in the ocean from that tee box. Very intimidating. 2 good shots.
While he was playing, this Rose's 3rd at the 15th.
Well, we've seen him in bunkers all week long, and that was as bad as it gets for where you want to be. That huge slope away from him. Couldn't have done any better.
Now Gary Woodland, this for a 3-shot lead.
Well, that would be a big ask here. This is not an easy putt. Downhill for the first 12 or 15 feet, then he catches a slope straight downhill to hold the last 4 or 5 feet. Just has to get it trickling over the ledge.
The 35-year-old playing in his 9th United States Open Championship. Haunted here by this stat, 0 for 7 with 54-hole leads. Leader by 1 coming into today.
Well, you know, Shane, Paul said it. He said he's got to use that I think I can mentality, but he's got these mentors, Butch Harmon and Pete Cowan, have mentored a ton of major championship winners. Obviously Harmon with Tiger Woods and Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson, and his voice, Butch Harmon's voice, is in this guy's head right now. He's one of his big friends.
And just about gets it. Calmly rolls it in at 14, and nearly an unexpected one here at 15. One more look at that. How close to a 3-shot lead.
Yeah, Shane, and it races away a little bit here at the end, but what a good putt. He thought he had it.
You mentioned how many greenside bunkers Justin Rose has been in. That was the 17th of the week. That's the most of any player that made the cut. This for par.
Drops another one, Shane. One of the things Justin Rose did this year, he made a big, huge equipment change, changed his irons, and he's missed a lot of greens today this week.
3rd bogey in 4 holes for Justin Rose. And his hopes of a 2nd U.S. Open championship have all but ended. And now Woodland, a tricky one here to save his par.
Solid as it can be right there, right up the hill. Didn't look like 3.5 feet. Felt like 10.5 feet for Woodland.
11 for 11 inside of 5 feet today for Gary Woodland.
Brooks Koepka up ahead at 17 for birdie.
He's walked around this twice now. It's about 28 feet straight, pretty much downhill, downwind. About 1.5 feet of break to his left. Getting the ball to the hole won't be a problem. Nice chilly breeze out here right now, guys, on this peninsula.
This is the third hardest hole so far today. There have been only 8 birdies at 17.
The 17th hole has provided the most dramatic and most memorable shots here at Pebble Beach in U.S. Opens past. That's going to be a little knee knocker there for Koepka.
Back at the 16th, Gary Woodland.
No more than 250 down the hill. That's where it really starts to narrow up.
Curtis, I think the fact that he doesn't have to hit a driver these last 3 of the last 4 holes, obviously not 17, but he can hit the stinger right there like he did on 15. He can do it on 18 if he's got a lead. That's going to help him.
Birdie putt for Graham McDowell at 18. What a thrill it would be as he finishes 3 under, tied for 16th in this championship. He's got his eyes. He's qualified for next month's British Open at Royal Portrush, and he can't wait. Reeve for birdie under the hole as well at 17.
He's reported himself pretty well. 1 bogey, 1 birdie today. A lot of pressure on him. Plus, he's playing with superstar Brooks Koepka at the same time. If he birdies the last hole, he'll post 8 under, alone in 3rd place.
Brooks for par. Koepka's through that tricky par 3 as he heads to the par 5 18th.
Well, he's got a decision to make here. This is one of the few holes, the 18th at Pebble Beach, that really affords you an option. It's just 2 back, and he'll know that standing on the tee.
Up at the green, Matt Kuchar for eagle here at 18. Made eagle here on Friday. He'll tap in for birdie. Just in case you're wondering, with Koepka about to tee it here at 18, there have been no eagles at 18 today. 6 for the week. This is Chesson Hadley for par at 18. Currently tied for 9th. And this would stamp his ticket if he can finish in the top 10 for Winged Foot a year from now. Way to go. Qualified in Columbus, Ohio on the 3rd of June. First time he's made the cut. 5 under, tied for 9th.
That's a big deal for Chesson Hadley to be able to stamp that ticket into Winged Foot, Joe. Not have to go through that 36 hole event.
I don't know, Woody, you got it?
We had 53 yesterday.
We'll go back to 16.
15 years, play with 53 or 4 this week. I'd say exact same shot. Get the same ring. Okay. You want to bring it down? Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
And off the left or where?
No, you touch off your right if anything. Yeah.
172 down the hill. Do not want to hit anywhere near 172. Bringing the back of this green and out of a very shallow sand-filled divot. Should not be an issue, but you say to yourself, why now? Put it back in your stance and just beat on it. Good contact, good looking shot.
Beautiful play by Woodland. He actually had a shot out of a divot on number 4 on Friday. Hit that same sort of shot, made a 3.
Here's Brooks Koepka at the tee at 18.
He can still reach with 3 wood off the tee, but he's got to put it in the fairway. And that is absolutely perfect.
Koepka has parred this 18th each of the first 3 rounds. He needs something better here today.
Back at the 16th in Rose.
That from 169 down the hill.
Leaning right again. He's bogeyed 3 of his last 4 holes, but no. Good shot, but dangerously high here above this sloping green.
Fox Sports coverage of the 119th U.S. Open Championship is sponsored by Rolex, official timekeeper of the USGA and its championships. By Lexus, experience amazing. By IBM, let's put smart to work. And by American Express.
Woodland making his way up to the green here at the 16th. 16, 17, and 18. Obviously no piece of cake around Pebble Beach. He is now 10 for 10 this week, hitting the greens in regulation on these closing 3 holes.
There's no doubt that Gary Woodland knows right now exactly where he stands. There's leaderboards on 15. There's leaderboards on 16. He knows Koepka's ahead of him and playing 18 right now. And then a par finish can win him the U.S. Open unless Koepka makes an eagle on 18. What would be a very popular win. One of the most popular guys on the tour.
He was asked about that career 0 for 7 record after leading after 54 holes. He said, I've lost a lot when leading, even though you learn from it. You just want to win. He said, it's not something I'm proud of. I've learned it's not fun. And today it has been a different looking Gary Woodland. Rock solid with his approach shots, and he has knocked in clutch putt after clutch putt.
There's Louis Oosthuizen at the green at 18 for birdie.
And he laid it up in the rough and hit a great wedge shot here just past the hole. This will be pretty quick down the hill. Looking to finish with a birdie to shoot even for the day.
You know, he busted out of the blocks red hot. He gave himself a chance in this championship, but it got away from him on that difficult stretch 8 through 13.
1 over for this round, 6 under for the week, back to 16.
And you know, Joe Buck mentioned it in the opening about Gary Woodland playing with Tiger Woods in the final round of the PGA of Bellerive in St. Louis last year. And that had to be invaluable experience to play with that pressure with the most popular player in the world. And he made that comment how important that top 10 finish was for him, first time in a major.
Well, you talked a moment ago about does he know exactly where he stands? He does. There's a huge scoreboard just off to his right. Up the hill. Pretty good swinger from right to left, but all about controlling the anxiety, the nerves, the concentration.
Well, that stayed in the map the whole time. Hard to hit it up that hill.
And just what he needed to do. Simple par at 16 for Woodland. 2 holes to go.
Here's Louis Oosthuizen for par.
And just a little bit back uphill. Not much to this putt here. That first one just got away from him.
Third top 10 finish in a U.S. Open for Louis Oosthuizen. Tied for 7th, 6 under for the week with a 2010 Open champion. This for birdie for Rory McIlroy to get to 5 under. Made that double on 2. Made a double on 16. Basically those 2 holes ending any chance of some comeback victory here for the 2011 U.S. Open champion. For Northern Ireland, the site of the upcoming British Open in July. Brooks has been waiting in the fairway. Again, there have been no eagles today at 18.
Yeah, I like it. 15 funny. It hurts a little off the left. Yeah. Come on, see your shot.
After a 290-yard 3-wood, 216 front, 228 hole. This is Brooks's driving iron, 3-iron. Straight back into the breeze.
Just off the back and sitting up.
Boy, he knew it when he hit it. That was flushed.
Here it is again.
Just think about what must be going through his mind. You know, the opportunity to win 3 U.S. Opens in a row will likely never come around again for Brooks Koepka, but hit the shot of his life there. He just needed one less club.
Well, we'll see what he can do with that lie.
He flushed that 3-iron. I mean, that under those circumstances is just so impressive. What must be running through his mind right now? He's got 2 more critical shots to hit. This is one of them.
Gary Woodland has made par at 17 and par at 18 each of the first 3 rounds.
Go, Gary! You got this, Gary, you got it! Close it out, Gary! Good job, buddy. Go, Gary! 200. Go, Gary! Go, Gary!
As big a shot and swing that this young man has ever had. 211 to carry the bunker on the left, 220 to the hole. 211 is all he's thinking about. 5-iron. Right side of the green.
That is not a good shot at all. And he's probably going to have to pitch that ball off the putting green. Maybe not. It rolled back a little bit. You can see that collar coming in on the right. All that moves to the left.
While Brooks Koepka thinks about his 3rd shot here at the par 5. Again, he is trying to become the first American to win 3 consecutive U.S. Open titles. The 2nd player to win the U.S. Open 3 straight years, and the first in 114 years. Willie Anderson completed that in 1905. One other note before the shot. Koepka will be the first player in U.S. Open history with 5 straight rounds in the 60s. Shot 68 in the final round last year to win by 1 at Shinnecock Hills. And it'll be all 4 rounds here at Pebble Beach this year. But will it be enough?
Joe, the lie's not too bad. It's a little sticky. It's only in about 1.5 inches of grass, but there's a little clump right behind it. I think he's just going to kind of play it like he's played a lot of the chips today. Just pitch it about 4 or 5 feet on the green and let it just tumble out. It is downhill. He's got to be careful of that leading edge grabbing a little too much.
Just got to make good contact, Steve.
Yeah, it's just one of those sticky little lies, Paul.
Stubbed it. Absolutely stubbed it. It's going to run out, and he's got to look. Bet that grass stains high on the face on that one. Came out dead. Oh yeah, no doubt he caught that high. So severely downhill, and as Steve Flesh said, that was a sticky lie.
Well, obviously a big putt upcoming for Brooks Koepka with what happened off the tee at 17 with Gary Woodland. Far right side of this hourglass green here at 17.
He's got the wedge out.
He has 2 options here. He could take a putter, skirt the right edge of the rough, let it break to the left 10 to 12 feet below the hole and take his chances from there. Or he can take the 64, which he does carry, 64-degree lob wedge, and flip it over.
Curtis, I'd pitched this ball off that green 100 times out of 100. I don't know about you.
Oh, I think that's the proper play, what he's doing. But I'm just saying there would be another option. This has to be perfectly played. We saw Mickelson do this on Friday.
Well, the last time that Woodland had a really tight lie, I think, was over there on number 6, and he caught it thin. This one here is, you can't be quick stroking this one. It's kind of a big backswing, short follow through. Try to get that ball up over that ridge he's just on top of now. But as you said, go ahead.
It's Paul. It's one of those things that if he hits it a little short, it catches the downslope and will chase. If he carries it up over in the flat, he'll put spin on it. So I don't think it has to be hit perfectly.
Well, if he takes a divot, it's going to probably go long. If he clips it with no divot whatsoever, he'll put some spin on it. And he's got a chance to get this close. But boy, under these circumstances, whew, glad it's him, not me. Sounded great. Oh, look at this shot.
Zing, we talked about off the tee how that was maybe the biggest swinging shot of his life. That might have been the best executed shot of his life.
Well, I think that trumps the 3-wood on 14, actually. As things have heated up, Woodland's gotten better.
Koepka with a birdie putt upcoming here at 18.
Yeah, I like a little outside of it. Okay, just on the piece, probably, yeah. I mean, it's pretty quick, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, just stay safe on the piece, yeah.
Been decisive all day on these putts. One more good one.
Koepka with a round of 68. Walks away with par at 18.
Oh, he flushed the 3-wood and absolutely melted the 3-iron. Good looking putt there, just ran out of speed. Goodness. What a defense of his U.S. Open. Boy, sucking in some oxygen as he watched Brooks Koepka down the 18th fairway, missed that putt.
Here's Rose for par at 17. Three over for this final round, sitting at 7 under, 5 back.
Well, we said at the opening that Rose needed to hit the ball better today to have any chance. He was close to the very bottom in greens in regulation to start, and he's going to remain there. It just didn't happen for Justin Rose.
For par.
Well done, Duke.
Gary Woodland will step to the tee at 18, the par 5, leading by 2. Grew up playing baseball, basketball. Talked a lot about playing higher adrenaline sports and how it took him some time to really control his emotions when things got tight. Boy, has he controlled his emotions as things have gotten tight here at Pebble Beach.
He's been phenomenal so far today. Knowing that he's got a 2-shot lead, he can hit iron off this tee, and I think he should. I think he will. Hit that same tee shot he hit on number 6 today.
Paul, I don't think there's any question about that. I think the question is, what iron is it? It could be anything from a 5-iron. He could hit 6-iron. More than likely, it's going to be 4 or 5-iron.
You won't line it up the right edge today. Get more hurt.
Beautifully played.
All he needed. Justin Rose.
Softly. Softly.
Tell you what, after that big hook that Gary Woodland hit on 9, he followed that up with 3 shots to the right. And then he just pulled it all together. The shot on 17, Joe, is the reason that he has this 2-shot lead. It took a lot of heart and a great touch to measure that up just perfectly and clip that ball, no divot whatsoever.
Sweep the leg, Gary!
And watch it check right there. He'll remember that the rest of his life if he wins this championship.
So will the rest of us.
It's the bottom of the club hitting and just kind of scratching the grass there a little bit. Under the circumstances, that takes a steady nerve. I noticed on 16 when he was marking his ball and putting his hand down that his fingers were steady.
How about this? Justin Rose, his fellow competitor. These two first met in 2008. They share an agent. They are very good friends. They got to play and walk together yesterday. They get to play and walk together today. And Justin Rose with that fist bump for his buddy. What a round, what a week for the great Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, no kidding, and that's an adjective that we can use on him. For a while, he finished runner-up to Tiger Woods at the Masters, won the PGA, and he's going to get another runner-up finish, it looks like, unless something terrible happens.
By the way, the last player to finish either first or second in each of the season's first 3 majors, Tiger Woods back in 2005. Tied for second at the Masters, won the PGA Championship, and is sitting in second all alone, 2 shots behind that man, Gary Woodland. And now welcome in on this Father's Day to our broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck, and so pleased and honored to be sitting next to Paul Azinger. This has been something to watch, and it has been just a brilliant effort. Somebody who's never been in this position before in Gary Woodland, just seizing this opportunity and just showed no cracks in his game here today.
You know what impresses me is how all these players with a chance came out of the gates today. They came out of the blocks flying, and those holes, the first 7 holes, they know they've got to get them, and several players made their move. the real heart of the course, 8 through 13. Punched a lot of those guys in the gut and ended their chances, but Woodland steadied himself through all that pressure. It's a long walk out there, Curtis, and there's a million things that go through your mind.
Yes, there is, but at this point, you better be thinking at the most important shot, and that's the next one. He has 280 or so to the hole. That's irrelevant. He's just laying up 160, 70, 80, whatever he chooses.
Well, the best players have this great ability to see what they want, not what they're afraid might happen.
Another well-played layup.
That's tight in there, Curtis, and couldn't have done much better. He could have been a little closer. That can't be much more than a wedge, maybe some kind of little 9-iron.
More importantly, he's in the fairway with no trouble ahead of him.
You know, the mental capacity required to be able to do this, what Gary Woodland's done today, especially having gone 0 for 7 in the final group. That's 50 full hole leader.
Well, I just marveled at his. He's been relentless in his work ethic over the years. He realized that his short game wasn't up to par or standard to compete, and he's worked on it, and it's been a great week for him. Now Justin Rose out of a fluffy lie here.
You know, Curtis, just because you can get every stat known to man doesn't make them all important. And the one stat, the glaring stat coming into this Sunday, was that Gary Woodland was 169th in scrambling, but first this week. And that's all that matters. What did you do that week? I was first in scrambling. And that's the reason he's 2 shots clear.
Well, I think we get so caught up in stats sometimes, and it tells the story, but to come through here for 4 days and to be part of the conversation for the last 3 and to play as solidly as he has and recovered as well. He hit some wayward shots today midway, tee shots, recovered every time, and it shows some strength. It shows a lot of talent, and good for him. This will change his life overnight.
It's a family affair for the Woodlands. His parents, Linda and Dan. He calls his wife, Gabby, Gary does, his rock. Their young son, Jackson.
Even if you get it there. 48, you just had. Yeah, okay. Like that? Are you just going to hit a little holder? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. 48. It's on the right. It is right now, yeah. Should not be. Should be straight into you. That smoke right there, you can see is just a touch off your right. Yeah. 48, going to play just over 65? Yeah, just over 60. Yeah. Split the tower and the pin? Yeah.
Well, you heard the whole story. 148, wind off the right. Somewhere a little bit beyond and to the right of the hole.
This is when you break out your anti-left swing, Curtis.
Safely on in 3. To win on this Father's Day. Joel Klatt went through it earlier. Gary and his wife, Gabby, suffered through a miscarriage. Their son Jackson born prematurely. It was not easy at the start of Jackson's life. he's doing well, and Gabby is pregnant with twin girls. Justin Rose has been the best player on the back nine all week, not today.
Rose putted the first 3 rounds. I think a lot of people thought that he was going to be tough to beat today. He just needed to hit it better, Joe, and he wasn't able to pull that together. We've talked this week about the work he's done with Pete Cowan, especially on the short game. How proud must Pete Cowan be of what Gary Woodland pulled off back at the 17th? No kidding. I mean, he was incapable of that. Not necessarily that particular shot, but just this kind of touch. And, you know, we only have 2 or 3 techniques. Really, if you have 4 techniques, you've got more than most, but you've got hundreds of shots with each technique, and whether he learned a new way to do it or not, I don't know, but well, what a turnaround. And this is just proof that you have to have short game to play at the highest level. We all think it's that driver going 320 yards in the air. That's nice. What he's done today is proven that when the pressure's on and the nerves are jangling and rattling, he can still have that touch. Just was a mental giant today, and that's what it takes.
His first 27 starts in a major, no top 10s. Coming in his last 3, 2 top 10s at the last 2 PGA championships, including a tie for 8. The 2019 PGA at Bethpage Black.
You know, we all work hard on the physical, but I think the best players, they take it to another level mentally, whether they're the most visual or the most positive in their thoughts. But Gary Woodland today, he really, for the most part, only saw what he wanted to have happen. There's his good friends behind the green, waiting for Gary Woodland to try to finish this off.
Major champion Gary Woodland has won the U.S. Open. Gary Woodland is the 119th U.S. Open champion. And that partnership with Brennan Little, who was on Mike Weir's bag when he won the Masters. Those two this week have put together 68, 65, 69, 69, 13 under for this U.S. Open. Justin Rose for birdie. Can't get the birdie to go. This for par. And then the celebration will officially be on for Gary Woodland.
This is going to be a really popular win. Everybody loves Gary Woodland. He's got a heart of gold. He deserves it. He went through a lot this week, Joe. Pressure of the lead.
Rose ties for third. And Gary Woodland, 13 under par, one better than Tiger in 2000 when he ran away with it 12 under. The conditions for the most part benign in what has been a spectacular championship here in 2019.
Well, it sure has, and this Gary Woodland is some athlete. The most impressive thing today was his touch.
Heads up, guys. Come on. Watch out.
Not one 3-putt all week, Joe.
Congrats, Gary. Make sure I get on back. Huge, Gary. Get out of the way.
Gary Woodland is the 6th player, age 35 or older, over the last 40 years to earn his first major win at a U.S. Open. 35 years old, ranked 25th in the world. And a win by 3 over Brooks Koepka. Just beautiful. Take a look at how it all shakes out. here at Pebble Beach Golf Links, the 119th U.S. Open Championship. Gary Woodland is the champion by 3 over Brooks Koepka, who finishes runner-up. And with that, let's go down to Joel Klatt.
All right, thanks, Joe. Here with Brooks. Brooks, you came out gangbusters, man. All cylinders firing in those first 5 holes. You're 4 under. Did you have a number in mind? And if so, what was it?
I didn't have a number in mind. I was just trying to shoot as low as possible. It was nice to get off to such a good start. I felt like, all right, man, we got a ball game now, and it was fun, and it was some excitement around the golf course, and that's what you want. And Gary, he played a hell of a round today. Props to him for the way he hung in there, and to go out in style like that is pretty cool.
Take us back to the 18th fairway. You have that second. What'd you have in? You knew right away that you maybe got a little too much. You said sit down.
Yeah, it was kind of an awkward number. 3-iron was a little bit too much, and 4 wasn't going to get there. So I tried to hoist the 3-iron up in the air and let it kind of hit the wind, and it didn't. It came out pretty low, but it's one of those things you gotta try to make the shot and pull it off, and I didn't do that. Just trickled over the green, but I thought that putt on 18 was in too.
Yeah, just skirting that right side. You've been on a historic stretch of golf. You've been playing some of the best golf that we've seen in a really long time. Did at any point during today's round that history creep up on you? Did you acknowledge it at all, what you were trying to accomplish today?
I think when I was done on 18, you kind of realize, wow, I was just that close to accomplishing something that hasn't been done in over 110 years.
Yeah.
And that's special. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it done, but I don't think anybody in the world played as good as Gary did this weekend. So it was cool to see. Happy for him.
Well, heck of a week. Going for 3 in a row. You shoot 4 rounds in the 60s. No player, Joe, has ever shot 4 rounds in the 60s and not hosted the championship trophy at the end. I know that's no consolation, Brooks, but we appreciate you joining us. Very classy of you.
Appreciate
Joe.
it.
Yeah, a good man. Brooks Koepka, a great champion, but this week belongs to Gary Woodland. Best finishes by defending back-to-back champions. What a finish by Brooks Koepka. Of course, Willie Anderson won in 1905. You see Ben Hogan. He finished 3rd in 1952. And nice of Brooks to stop by with Joel Klatt. We'll come back with the trophy presentation and the ceremony at the 18th green, where moments ago, Gary Woodland won the U.S. Open. And on this Father's Day, 2019, the 35-year-old Gary Woodland is a major champion.